What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Dungeon of Doom podcast, baby. Back-to-back NFC North champions, number one seed, bye week, in the bag. Lions win 31-9. I'm Ben Raven. He's Corey Woods.
What up, though?
That's right, man. What is up, man? How you feeling after that?
I felt the Lions were going to win this game, but not like this.
Yeah. No, I know. And even when it was back and forth in the second half there and the Vikings were hanging on, and you're like, man, is the Lions offense really going to blow this effort from the defense? And then no. Another stop, and Jahmyr freaking Gibbs not just takes over, sends the Vikings to Los Angeles with a boot on the butt out the door.
I mean, you just said it right there. The defense, they came up, they showed out. That was a big concern coming into this game, just seeing how the defense played against the Bills and how they played against the 49ers. How is the secondary going to hold up?
Yeah.
And against Justin Jefferson, I mean, holding him to what they held him to, 54 yards, that's crazy. But the defense and Jahmyr Gibbs really just carried this team to the number one seed, back-to-back NFC North crowns, and hey, the road to the Super Bowl goes to Detroit. How many times can you say that in your lifetime?
Never. It's the first back-to-back division titles of the Super Bowl era. It's their first number one seed ever. And you talk about Justin Jefferson. They targeted him 9 times today. He had 3 catches.
3.
All 5'9" of Amik Robertson played his butt off. Amik, I asked him after the game, what's it mean to have that trust, to get that matchup, to shade Justin Jefferson? And he says, they tried to bury me. They say I was too small. They say I was this or that. You can't bury what comes from the dirt.
And
I know. It hits you in waves.
That was you know what? So Amik Robinson said that there's nothing but dogs in that Lions locker room. That is a dog quote.
Dude, I know.
So
you can't bury what comes from the dirt.
I'm over here just dumbfounded by that. That is beautiful. But yeah, this is an impressive performance all the way around. The job that he did was just admirable. I mean, and this, I think this goes without saying, Aaron Glenn has done an admirable job throughout the entire season, but this was the masterclass. Like, it's almost like we say that every week, but the way they came out in this game and just frustrated Justin Jefferson, frustrated TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold looked like he was seeing ghosts. I mean, that was everything that they were talking about this defense would not be able to do against this offense. The Lions erased it. Yep. We were hoping their offense at some point clicked and helped them out because we're like, they can't sustain this. But they did.
They did. I mean, the Vikings had 3 trips inside the 10-yard line and came away with only 3 points, had 2 turnovers or downs out of that. And Goff threw his 2 interceptions after those 2 turnovers on downs. Like, terrible field position. Here you go, defense. Good luck. And they stood the test. They got the big break. You know, they erased the field goal before the half.
Yeah.
The rookie kicker misses the one in the second half.
That was a gift.
Dude, gift from above. And Gibbs with 4 touchdowns finishes the regular season with a team record 20 total touchdowns.
Not even just a team record. Led the NFL.
20 touchdowns.
Leading the NFL in touchdowns.
Unbelievable. Positional value.
I've been joking with my friends about that all the time because they're like, well, you could have got this guy. You could have got this guy. This is another prime example of how. What do you guys say on social media? Let Brad Holmes cook.
Yeah, that's right, man. Let Aaron Glenn cook.
Yeah.
Because they came in today and they execute. I mean, it's clear. Sometimes you can't always see what a game plan is, like clear as day. Today it was clear. Blitz Sam Darnold, play a ton of man coverage, make that man see some ghosts in the pocket. And honestly, they had him crip walking like Brent Barry at a 3-point contest in that pocket all day. I mean, the pressure was unrelenting. Darnold had 8 overthrows at halftime alone. I think Hawkinson had 2 catches on 8 targets. Jefferson had 3 on 9, 18 of 41. I mean, that's Darnold's crazy. Been playing awesome. That Vikings offense has been awesome. They didn't score a touchdown today,
which is nuts. Again, this is everything that people were worried about what this defense will be able to do against that receiving trio, I guess you can say, trio.
Yeah, for sure.
They erased it. And it's you might see this team again in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And I believe beating a team 3 times in a season. I mean, beating a team twice.
Yeah.
Well, take that back. Khalif Raymond talked to him after the game. He said beating a team once in the NFL is hard. But
yeah,
3 times, I mean, it's possible you can see the team in a couple of weeks. And I don't know how that matchup would turn out. But, I mean, while we're talking about today, just an overall impressive performance. Like you said, Amik Robinson, he did his thing, but I think it goes without saying the return of Alex Anzalone was massive.
No, it really was. It really was. And he didn't just play. He was back in his every down role, man. And he said after the game, once you get that first hit at full speed, it's like, all right, I got this.
Yeah.
And not only was he playing, I mean, he was in man coverage on TJ Hawkinson all day. 2 catches, 9 yards. He is the quarterback of the offense. He is one of the important heartbeats of that locker room. Still has a freaking steel plate in his forearm. I mean, he was showing us the other day. That thing's still puffy. It's still, I mean, he's 6 weeks removed from surgery. He's 6 weeks removed from breaking his forearm. And he's out there not just playing, balling out.
I was just looking at this guy like, yo, they really did need him. This defense looks night and day with him out there. And again, it's not to say that Jack Campbell didn't do a good job as the green dot. It's just that when you have an experienced player like Anzalone out there who's just able to do so many different things, and he's grown in his defense in these past 4 seasons under Aaron Glenn, it's just that you need your guys out there. You need your core foundation out there on the field, and it just showed.
And it's like we talked about when the Lions took up Gibbs in the first round. It's not that they didn't have faith in David Montgomery to lead the show. When the Lions took Jack Campbell in the first round, it's not that they didn't have faith in Alex Anzalone to lead the show. It's the pairing.
Yeah.
It's the throwback run stopper of Campbell paired with the man coverage, on-field leadership, captainship, ability to calm the storms, like Dan Campbell said, of Alex Anzalone, and it's just let Brad Holmes cook.
I'm just at a loss of words of how this performance went down. I mean, because Gibbs really did. I mean, Gibbs really put this team on his back. Four touchdowns in one game.
3 straight games with 100+ rushing yards. That's the longest streak since Barry Sanders in 1998.
Wow.
I mean,
again. If I'm not mistaken,
a star.
If I'm not mistaken, Gibbs, because he now finished the season with 1,412 yards. I believe he is the first Lions running back to have 1,400 yards in 26 years?
Yeah, man.
If I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, it's like the amount of milestones that Gibbs has done this season that are all connected to 2 guys, either Barry Sanders or Billy Sims. He's a superstar.
And he's done it on majority split carries.
Yeah, exactly. Outside these last 3 games without Montgomery, yes, he's been a star, but like those stats were still coming.
Yeah.
And he has owned these Vikings. 2 games against the Vikings this year, 6 touchdowns, 200-yard rushing games, ton of yards in receiving. I mean, he's not just a change of pace. He's not just a receiving back. He's the whole effing show.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's no disrespect to David Montgomery. It's kind of like what we were just saying. I mean, they go together, but we are at the point right now where you could almost call Gibbs their best player.
I believe these. When we were talking about David Montgomery going down, a lot of people were like, "Oh my God, what are they going to do?" I'm like, "Well, wait a minute. This could be an opportunity for Gibbs to have his real coming out party. Not to say that we don't know that he's great and we haven't seen it, but we're able to now see what can Gibbs do as a solo act.
Boom.
He's proven that, hey, I can be an every down back.
Yeah.
And on top of being an every down back, I can be an every down back and be an asset in the passing game.
Yeah. Not only that, against Brian Flores and his blitzing defense, he stood in that backfield and took blitz after blitz after blitz. Every time he wasn't running a route, that man was blocking. Craig Reynolds looked great in pass protection today, too. And I mean, Goff had his struggles, had a couple sloppy moments, but he still finished like 26-34.
I believe they said Goff is now the first quarterback, and this is again first, which means he stands alone. First quarterback to finish the season completing 72% of his passes and throwing over 4,500 yards.
Unbelievable. And the Vikings don't give up 30 points to nobody.
No.
But in 4 matchups with Goff against a Brian Flores-led Vikings defense, the Lions have scored 30 points in every single one of those matchups. Dan Campbell is now 5-1 against Kevin O'Connell, who is arguably, if Dan Campbell's not coach of the year, it's Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
He's 5-1 against that man.
And there's also another thing. And there's also another thing with the 5-1. The Lions have not lost since they sent. The Lions have not lost to the Vikings since they sent T.J. Hawkinson over there.
That's unbelievable. It really is. Oh man, just the Vikings go to Los Angeles as the NFL's first 14-win wildcard team. That's tough. You win 14 games. Congratulations. Here's a pissed off Matthew Stafford waiting for you at SoFi Stadium. Oh my God. Listen, y'all, inside baseball, us getting to cancel our flights and bookings to LA because you got to have your bases covered. But, just, hey, we get that first round bye too. We'll be busy writing stories and holding it down, but breath of air and then right back into it. I mean, man, talk about that first round bye. Just for Anzalone to knock some rust off and now get an extra week of recovery because he even admitted, he's like, I'm sore. Yeah. It's sore. Yeah, no kidding it is. You still got a steel plate in there, you psycho. But and all those defensive guys, all those injuries, all the guys close to coming back or with a small window of coming back, it's another week of recovery. It's another week of rehab, and it's another week that they don't have to stuff themselves onto a plane and fly across the country, which is just huge. Huge.
And again, we all know we just really briefly touched on it, the possibility of them playing the Vikings a third time. And I know some fans that I've talked to said they were concerned about that, but I'm like, this team needs that bye week more than arguably any other team that's in the postseason right now. They need that bye week just so a lot of their guys can just rest up and maybe potentially you can get some. Yeah, maybe you potentially get another guy back. Who knows? Maybe Carlton Davis could come back.
Who knows?
We know Dan Campbell said he's pretty much looking at it being something longer term. But again, you never know at this point.
Yeah, not to be downers, but there was another defensive injury tonight.
Yeah.
Terrion Arnold went down, exited with a foot injury late in the third quarter, I believe. Looked like he took some friendly fire. Brian Branch kind of stepped on his extended foot. Dan Campbell said he underwent x-rays after the game, and it was negative. We're recording this at 2:40 a.m. After the game, so we'll see if more updates come out by the time this publishes. But, Dan was, kind of they were negative, but, he was so tender that it doesn't really matter. We won't really know until tomorrow or when the swelling goes down or anything like that. But – and I'm no Twitter doctor, but it didn't look great on the replay. But, Kendall Vildor steps in. Almost gets a forced fumble, gets a pass breakout, punching it out on Jefferson. I know a lot of fans feel some type of way about Vildor, but he does know this scheme well, and he does, win or lose, play the way Glenn wants you to play, in your face, physical, run stopper. So we'll see what happens there. But, there's a possibility this team goes into the first round, even with the bye, without their top 2 starting cornerbacks. But Amik Robertson is a dog. And Ifeatu Melifonwu has been Ifeatu Melifonwu since coming back, and Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph are who they are. And man, the blitzes were working tonight. This is one of the best offenses in the NFL, one of the hottest quarterbacks, potentially the best wide receiver on the face of the earth. The Lions didn't give up a single touchdown despite fighting out of bad field position time and time again. And I mean, for anybody looking for reasons to feel optimistic, you just saw it.
And you know what was really interesting was just how amazing that red zone defense was. Because, the Vikings were knocking on the door time after time, and they could just not get it in. And you just got to go ahead and credit Aaron Glenn for that. But, again, this is one of those things the Lions have talked about all season long, where people thought it was just coach speak, was next man up. This is another game where you see that next man up is not just a cute catchphrase in the locker room. It is a mentality that these guys live, sleep, breathe, and come game time, they are ready to go ahead and set it off. And again, I don't believe they went to in their last season. I mean, their last regular season with a loss.
No.
I mean, of course we know they didn't want to lose. But I'm just mean like
no, for sure.
the way that the game went against the Bills. I believe they were just want to come in here and erase some of that bad juju, and they definitely did that.
They did.
And I mean, it's so many things you can pretty much say about how this game went. But again, what it really impressed me was how they were able to shut down Justin Jefferson. Again, whether you want to put Jamar Chase or Jefferson as 1A, 1B, you can rotate them, but to hold a guy down like that to 3 catches and 54 yards, it's almost impossible. I believe that's the first time. And again, they didn't score any touchdowns, so I think that's the first time in like maybe 2 or 3 seasons they held Jefferson without a touchdown.
I wrote that story about Jefferson at Ford Field, and in 4 career games before tonight at Ford Field, he was averaging double-digit catches and 182 yards per game. In 4 games. I mean, what Jefferson has done against this team, win or lose, has been ungodly. And to get that today, man, a lot of it was the coverage, but a lot of it was that pressure. Sam Darnold dancing in the pocket, overthrowing guys, missing open receiver after open receiver after open receiver, man. Jeez of Pete's. They went 3 of 13 on 3rd down. They went 0 of 3 on 4th down. They had 4 trips to the red zone and didn't score a single touchdown.
And Jefferson said that was one thing that did them. And he did have some complaints about the officiating, but he said it did. He said it didn't affect the outcome of the game because he said he said they didn't do what they needed to do with the red zone.
No, they did not.
And one thing that you got to give Aaron Glenn credit for is that he frustrated Sam Darnold out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that was really key into getting this win. Because I think if Darnold kind of got out to a rhythm, he might have, I won't say what he would have done, but I think it might have been a different game. But frustrating him out the back, it looked like he went to the original Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I know exactly. They really did. I mean, Glenn spotted a weakness and just attacked it and attacked it and attacked it. And man, hats off. Just a note, with the Lions winning, their coordinators can start interviewing for head coaching jobs this Wednesday virtually. Boy. Expect a lot of those. We'll be busy with that. It's not a complete bye week for us, but but man, I just an impressive defensive showing. We got to move on to the offense a little bit, but man, the defense that had given up so many points, 400 passing yards last week in San Francisco, to come out here and just shut the door on the Vikings' foot time and time and time again. I mean, that is the pressure that they've been looking for. And Glenn tapped into a little Flores today. I mean, they always play man coverage, but the blitzes they were sending today, that was aggressive.
Muhammad balling.
Yeah, he was.
Darius Smith ball.
Yeah, Smith played well.
I mean, it was just
I got like nothing bad to say about the defense.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, we can say, okay, this guy did good, this guy did good. They all did.
I know
good.
Akers hit him for the 57-yard run, but then they bounced right back. Yeah. I mean, and that was after kind of a weird penalty too. Yeah. I mean, man, just if that defense plays anywhere near this well in the playoffs, we'll see y'all in New Orleans.
Yeah. I mean, if they play like this these next 2 games,
man,
you might as well go ahead and start getting your I don't know, your Nola bead, your Mardi Gras mask, and all of that, because it's gonna be a Lions versus whomever in the Super Bowl. I was just overall thoroughly impressed by this game.
Yeah, so the first round in the NFC, the Lions are obviously the 1 seed. It's Packers at Eagles, Commanders at Bucks. Yeah, great games. And then even the Vikings at Rams. I mean, the 2 teams, unbelievable. The Vikings' 3 losses on the season are to the Lions, the Rams, and the Lions, and now they play the Rams on back-to-back weeks again. And their only 2 losses before tonight were Lions, and then at SoFi. So just the Matthew Stafford friend tree is like taking them down. But yeah, that's interesting. So looking ahead at that, it's kind of like the Lions will face the highest seed from that. So if the Packers win, it'll be Packers back here.
Okay.
If the Commanders win, it'll be back here. If the Vikings win, it'll be back here. And then we'll see, to be determined on the rest. But it's a fascinating road ahead. But man, what a time to be alive. First round bye. I never knew that. When I signed up for this beat 5 years ago, I didn't know that was possible.
Me and my family members, we talk about this stuff all the time, and they're like, I wonder if I'm ever going to be able to see the Lions be one of those teams like the Chiefs or the Patriots where I get to cheer on that type of season. They've always asked
right.
And now they're living it, and it's almost kind of like I forgot what the movie was where he's like, what do I do with my
Ricky
hands?
Bobby.
What do I do with my hands? Like you don't know how to accept it, and you don't know how to really feel about it, because it's like you never thought you would see it. They've never been the number one seed.
Never.
This is their. I mean, they've already know they set franchise records as far as the wins, but you have a 15-win Lions team.
15 wins. 15 wins. 15 wins. Do you know how long it took me to see my 15th win on this beat? I think 3 years. Man, that's crazy. One last defensive stat, just because he's a freaking warrior. Anzalone led the defense with 7 tackles today.
Wow.
Added a quarterback hit, a pass breakup.
That's not supposed to happen.
The man is playing with a broken forearm with a steel plate and a carbon fiber padded cast, and he's out here leading the defense.
You know what? Anzalone is sore as you know what, but I'm telling you right now, he's sleeping with a smile.
Oh, no, it was awesome. Somebody's like, how do you think it went? And he just smiled. He's like, how do you think it went? I was like, perfect. We do got to move to the offensive side of the ball. We have touched on Jahmyr Gibbs. He had 4 touchdowns, 20 on the season. 17, 18, 19, and 20 came in this game. 139 yards on the ground, 47-yard long, 25-yard touchdown, had another big touchdown. He's 5 catches on 5 targets for 31 yards and a touchdown. Jamison Williams, 1,000 yards by 1 yard. Got it in the final minutes, 1,001 yard. The Lions have 2,000-yard receivers in the first time in a season since Marvin Jones and Golden Tate did it in 16-17, I believe. And everyone contributed. Sam Laporta, 7 catches, 7 targets. St. Brown, 6 catches, 7 targets to lead the way. J-Mo had a weird, wacky game. I can't wait to see the NFL Next Gen stats on him running around the field. But, man, he plays his role well, man. He really does. And just Goff, 27-33, 1 touchdown and those 2 picks. The only gripe I have against the offense is what the hell were they doing every time they snapped it in their own end zone?
That was really confusing to me, because I'm like, hey, go ahead, run the ball. Dude. Give Goff a little bit of breathing room to work with, because, again, he threw 2 picks. I'm not going to excuse it, but I'm going to also say I don't think those are all his fault. I thought he was put in a really tough spot, and I felt like the protection kind of broke down pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm just like, really? A bomb out of the end zone, a huck and prayer out of the end zone that gets intercepted, and then the other one, they almost get called for a penalty that would have been a safety. He almost throws an interception in the end zone. Run the ball.
Yeah.
Run. That's too cute. That's too cute. And Van Ginkel for the Vikings, man, flattened Gibbs. Woo. Beautiful read on that. And nearly had a pick six.
That would have been going back the other way.
That was going all the way to the other side. So there were some close calls on offense today. And I would just say this. Take a little of the cuteness out of your play calling.
Yeah.
Just a little, especially when you're inside your own 10-yard line fighting for air. Your defense is playing their asses off. Give them a breather.
Yeah, I just felt like on a couple of those, plays when they're near the end zone, they just did not put Goff in the best position to be able to do what he does best. Because, he still completed 70% of his passes.
Exactly. No,
so it wasn't like he was just playing like badly the whole game. He was in a bad spot, and I just felt that was unfair to him. I mean, again, he threw the 2 picks, whatever, but I felt he was put in a really unfair position to make a play when they could have just ran the ball and gave him a little bit of breathing room to operate with. And again, on those picks, pocket was breaking down quickly.
Yeah, especially on that first one. The pressure was on. I could not believe they were passing in that situation. The second one, I don't know where he was throwing.
Yeah, that was just like
he just threw it as far as he could.
I want to say that reminded me of when Brett Favre, I think he threw that pick against the Eagles when he just launched it up there.
Doing?
Yeah, I'm like, Oh, he just threw it up, and it looked like almost like a punt.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the gripe against the offense today. Yeah, it probably took a little too long to get things going, but like, man, just when your back is against the wall like that, and your defense is giving you life and keeping you in this game and keeping you ahead, do them a favor.
Yeah.
Drop a couple runs. Get away from your own goalposts. Goff will stand in there and take hits and pressure all day long with the best of them. That is not a situation where you want him to have to do that.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I saw a broken record.
No.
Didn't feel they were fair to him, and with that play calling, I don't know whether Ben Johnson has like his own little personal chess match against Brian Flores, but if you see this guy again for a third time, keep it simple.
Yeah. In those situations, yes, the Vikings blitzing, playing man coverage, Goff continues to eat that up. But that when you don't have anywhere to go, exactly. You got nothing else to add what you said. Man, we'll see. That's a good Vikings team. I was surprised at how this one went like that. I really did expect it to be a little more high scoring. I think I called 35-25.
I said 38-35.
I think the books opened at 58 points over under. And yeah, we'll see. Dan Campbell told Kevin O'Connell at midfield, see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I asked Kevin that he confirmed it.
Yeah, okay, nice.
Dan did say that.
We'll see. Good luck getting out of L.A. Monday Night Football, Vikings-Rams. That is a sexy matchup right there.
Stafford is, like you said, it's a man on a mission.
We don't got to make any predictions this week either because the Lions don't play anybody. You're talking to two grad students here nearing the end of our master's degree. Just needed 5 days to get ahead of homework. Exactly right.
I'm just like, dude, I don't want to have to miss my first class.
Yeah.
No, man. That's what would have happened. Like, next classes for me start next Tuesday. I would have been coming home.
Yeah.
I would have been in the air coming home while class is going on.
Yeah, my first is this Thursday. The second class, taking 2 this semester, is Tuesday at 6 p.m. That would have sucked flying home from L.A. So shout out Dan Campbell. Shout out Amik Robertson. Shout out Jahmyr Gibbs. But, man, Lions win 31-9. 15 wins. NFC North champs. Back-to-back. The 1 seed.
This feels like something you should simulate on Madden that happened, not really actually experienced. So
exactly.
I may not have contributed much, but I'm just speechless.
No. And let me pat myself on the back real quick. Back in May, I predicted the Lions would run the table in the NFC North and repeat as champs. 6-0 in the division, undefeated on the road. You want to know how they're the number 1 seed? I'll have a column on that in the morning. You go undefeated on the road. You don't go undefeated in the division. It don't matter how tight it is. If you do that, you're going to come out on top. And man, everybody take a deep breath. I know it's been a crazy month of watching the Eagles, watching the Vikings, and watching the Lions try and put this patchwork defense together, but they are in freaking good hands. And this really just feels like the NFL's cream of the crop.
I really don't see anybody beating this team the way that if they continue to roll like this, nobody's going to be able to come in here and beat them.
Nobody's coming in here and beating them.
And again, I don't think that offense plays that badly. Again, when that divisional kicks off, they know what's at stake. To host the NFC Championship in Ford Field?
It's unbelievable.
That's yeah.
No, it was easy to get psyched up for this one. Having potentially 2 more playoff games from this building, I mean, it was rocking today.
Yeah.
From Anzalone being the last player introduced, rocking. Barry Sanders, Kelvin Johnson get introduced.
Eminem.
Slim Shady comes up with Haley.
Chauncey
Billups.
They rolled off the red carpet.
They were like, hey, Detroit, you love your people? Here you go. Get louder. Unbelievable stuff. Ford Field brought it tonight, forced a couple of penalties, had the Vikings seeing ghost. I'm just giggling, man. It's 3 a.m. We're covering a 15-win team. Back-to-back division titles for the first time in the Super Bowl era. We'll see who they play in the divisional round, but, man, they got to come in here. Yeah. That's all we got. We will have interesting hit-or-miss schedule in Allen Park this week, but we'll still be with you. As I said, coordinators for the Lions can start virtually interviewing for head coaching jobs around the league starting Wednesday. And they're going to be the 2 most sought-after candidates.
I'm telling you right now, Aaron Glenn's probably not going to get no sleep.
He ain't going to get no sleep. Ben Johnson, I mean, thank God for that bye, too, to get some of these out of the way this week instead of that's another blessing. The guys getting to heal up is another blessing. Getting a week off for anybody that's played an NFL game this year is a blessing this time of year. So just, woo!
Another guy who said he's feeling it, too, Khalif Raymond. He said he returned. And he said, "Hey, I'm ready for this bye too. I'm feeling a little something."
That's right. Yeah, Khalif was back, returning punts, saw a couple snaps on offense. I mean, that's just another key piece working his way back. And we'll see. Derek Barnes and Aiden Hutchinson were on the sideline watching this game today. No crutches for either. I don't know. We'll see what happens, guys. But the extra week off, man, that's a favor for everybody, especially Terry and Arnold as we wait to see what happens there.
I'm telling you right now. Barnes, Hutch, if this team hits that Super Bowl,
man,
I think some of those guys are going to heal like Wolverine.
It's going to be hard to keep either one of those guys off the field if it gets that far.
And that's what I was just trying to tell people. This is like, well, let them heal up to next year. Let them think about their careers long term. And I'm like, Dan Campbell just said last year, there's no guarantee you get back here.
Yeah, no, there's not.
There is no and the thing is, they're at least going to the divisional, but there's no guarantee this team will be in this position again next year. We already know.
Yeah.
The band is getting broke up in this offseason. It's going to be a different team coming back next year.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be different coordinators next year.
Yeah.
So it's like it's almost like I don't want to I don't want to be blasphemous when I say this, but it's almost like it is the last dance.
Yeah, I mean, for this group, for the group of guys that brought this franchise from where it was, and I mean that means a lot to Dan. I mean, he even talked about the Bill Belichick photo when he's with Charlie Weiss and Romeo Cornell back in the day, realizing, crap, this is it.
Yeah,
I mean, every game from here on out is potentially it for this group,
and they're going to sell out.
Yeah, they are. The Lions will be here, but losing those two coordinators, I mean, they are two of the best at what they do in the familiarity and the time spent, the time on task. From 21, Johnson's been here from before 21.
Yeah.
But to be here, I mean, hey, those are. If I was looking for a head coach, I'd be looking at those two guys too.
Absolutely.
Anyone, whether you want an offensive mind or a defensive mind, it don't matter. Interview them both. And Godspeed to them. And Godspeed to us. We'll be back, Mailbag Podcast later in the week. We'll see what's cooking. We'll figure that all out. There will not be a post-game podcast this weekend, so it will be nice to get a little breather, watch some football, catch our breath, because we're going to give you everything we got for the divisional round, just like we did tonight. He's Corey Woods. I'm Ben Raven. And this is your Dungeon of Doom podcast.